Most people believe big success comes from one powerful, life-changing decision. They wait for motivation, confidence, or the perfect moment to begin. But life rarely changes in one dramatic moment. It changes quietly through small habits repeated every single day. This story will show how small habits can slowly transform an entire life. This is the story of a young man named Oliver. Oliver was not lazy, but he always felt exhausted and disappointed. He worked hard, yet his life never seemed to move forward. Every morning, he promised himself today would finally be different. And every night, he felt guilty for breaking those promises again. Oliver dreamed of success, confidence, and inner peace. But those dreams felt very far from his current reality. He believed meaningful change required strong motivation and big actions. Because of that belief, he kept waiting instead of starting. If I cannot change everything, why change anything? That thought slowly controlled Oliver's decisions and behavior. Days passed, then weeks, then years, without real progress. One evening, Oliver met his former teacher, Mr. Raymond, unexpectedly. They sat together quietly in a small cafe near the road. Mr. Raymond asked about Oliver's life and future plans. Oliver hesitated, then spoke honestly about his frustration. He said he wanted change but felt completely stuck inside. He admitted feeling tired of starting and failing repeatedly. Mr. Raymond listened patiently and did not rush his response. After a pause, he asked a very simple question. What small habit do you practice consistently every day? Oliver stayed silent, surprised by the question. He realized he had no clear answer. He focused only on big goals, never small daily actions. Mr. Raymond smiled gently and spoke with calm confidence. Most people fail because they try changing everything at once. Small habits are easier to start and harder to break. Those words stayed in Oliver's mind that entire night. He realized he was waiting for a perfect version of himself, instead of building that version through small daily effort. The next morning, Oliver decided to try a different approach. He did not plan to change his whole life immediately, chose one very small habit to begin with. Oliver woke up 10 minutes earlier than usual that morning. Not an hour earlier, just 10 simple minutes. He used those minutes to sit quietly and read. At first, the habit felt meaningless and too small. What difference can 10 minutes possibly make? But Oliver decided to continue anyway. The first week felt uncomfortable and slightly annoying, but after several days, waking earlier felt easier. After 1 month, the habit felt natural and automatic. Encouraged by this success, Oliver added another small habit. He stopped checking his phone immediately after waking up. That simple change made his mornings calmer and more focused. Slowly, Oliver noticed his thoughts becoming less chaotic. His mind felt quieter, and his days felt more controlled. He no longer rushed into the day feeling overwhelmed. Weeks passed, and Oliver added small habits carefully. Short walks after dinner became part of his routine. Drinking more water slowly replaced unhealthy drinking habits. None of these habits felt powerful on their own, but together they began shaping a different version of Oliver. A version that trusted himself again. Oliver noticed his confidence growing quietly. Not from success, but from consistency. He proved to himself that he could show up daily. People around him did not notice sudden dramatic changes. But Oliver felt something more important inside. He felt stable, disciplined, and emotionally stronger. Some days were easy, and some days were difficult. But Oliver continued showing up without waiting for motivation. He stopped chasing excitement and focused on consistency. Months later, Oliver looked back at his old habits. The man who waited for motivation felt distant now. He understood something powerful about real transformation. Big life changes do not arrive suddenly. They're built quietly through repeated small actions. Habits shape identity before identity shapes success. 1 year later, Oliver's life looked very different. Not perfect, but clearly moving forward. He felt proud of the person he was becoming. Oliver finally understood the truth most people ignore. You do not rise through motivation alone. You rise through small habits practiced daily. Most people underestimate the power of small habits. They want massive change without small daily effort. But life does not transform overnight. It transforms quietly, one habit at a time. You do not need to change everything today. You only need to start with one small habit. This is Ethan Cole, sharing stories that remind you small habits can create big life changes.